Hi, ladies. This is Nicole Elissa, transformational love coach. And today I am here with my colleague and friend, Deanna Dorell. Deanna is a love coach and she is a spiritual healer. I love bringing Deanna to the channel because I was going to say that we're going to geek out on,
We are going to geek out.
we're going to geek out on three unconventional ways or practices that will actually really create a powerful feminine way of being to attract the one, to align you with the type of love that you want in your life. You know, we're talking top quality love. So I'm excited to have Deanna today on the channel. Welcome. And we're going to start in a second. Like, do you have any few words in which you would like to start our conversation today?
First off, thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here with all of you goddesses. And if you are, new to my work, I just want to say that, we want you to watch until the end because I have something very special for everybody here that's free that can really help you if you're in that place of wanting to call in the one, wanting to call in love, but feeling a little bit stuck. So stay tuned.
Yeah, this is going to be really powerful. One of the things that I always say about the feminine energy, that it's not just, about like leaning back or how to be attracted and everything. It is about a really powerful way of being that encompasses not only, the physical aspect of the feminine, like how attractive a woman is, but it encompasses the emotional, the spiritual, etc. So I wanted to know, what are these three unconventional ways? Would you like to start with the first one?
Sure. So actually, before I give the tips, let's talk about what are the three things we most want as women, from a man. And what I've seen in my practice, and Nicole, I'm sure you've seen this too, is as women, we all want to be seen. We want to be seen. That's why we put on the makeup and that's why we do our hair. We want to be seen by our man. The second thing is we want to feel loved. We want to feel loved and special. And the third is we want to feel important to the man that we're with. And so all of these three tips and these three practices are built around those core desires to help you feel seen, to help you feel important, and to help you feel loved in your relationship that you're calling in, but also the relationship you have with yourself. So with that, the first one is about energy. And this may be a new concept for you. So as you're listening to this, I ask that you keep an open mind and try on what works and leave the rest. So one of my offerings that I share with my private clients is this concept of letting go of negativity. And you may have heard this in the conventional sense of the word, like you want to be positive to attract a man, but this takes it to another level. So if you think about, we have our physical body, and then we have what is called an aura, which is just simply energy that's around your physical body that holds you in this material world. And what can happen, let's say if you've had a really bad day at work, for example, you can start to absorb in your aura, maybe not in your physical body yet, the energies and vibrations of other people that are complaining, that want to vent to you, maybe even a good girlfriend that you're like, I was in a great mood. Why did I hang up the phone and now I'm feeling sad or confused? Well, what may have happened is that energy went through your aura and now is kind of on you. And so one of the things that you can do is learn how to clean your aura. It's the reason that we all take a bath or a shower, even though you may not realize it. That's one easy way to do this. But why is that important when you want to attract a man? So when you want to call in the one, not just any type of relationship, it's important to be in the highest vibrational state. What I mean by that is you can attract a man, walking down the street, letting your boobs fly out. What kind of frequency man would be attracted to that? It's very different than if you've taken the time to relax your physical body, to let go of other people's stuff, and you're approaching, a date, fully present, fully alive, fully in your goddess vibe, which is so magnetic and so attractive to men. So tip number one is to clean your aura. So I'm going to give you really, really simple ways to do that. First one is a shower. but you want to be intentional about it. So you're not just like rushing and listening to the radio and listening to your podcast in the bath. Like, you are focused. And before you step into the shower or the bath, you say, I now intend that this water cleanse any energies that are not mine. And it can be as simple as that. You can take, a 2-minute shower or a 30-minute. The length doesn't matter as much as the intention. And if you want to get really fancy with it, you can take an Epsom salt or a sea salt bath. I usually recommend like a cup and a half of Epsom salt with a cup and a half of baking soda. And you just stay there for about 20, 30 minutes and then take a warm shower to clean off. Those are just some simple ways that you can do it. Another is meditation. Again, this is all built on like what you're actually going to be consistent with. Yeah. If you're like me, and maybe you, Nicole, like, I don't like to sit still for hours and hours. I'm a dancer by nature, and so I want to move my body. And so maybe for you, it's turning on your favorite song on Spotify, closing your eyes, and again, being conscious and saying, I'm using this as a movement meditation to release crap from my day. And it can be that simple. So does that make sense, Nicole?
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, I remember one time years ago, people do this unconsciously. I feel like it's important to not, one of the things that I find is to be very important, it's like, okay, maybe a friend of yours, like, drop this energy on you or something to that effect. I find that most people do this unconsciously. Mm-hmm. So, and when people are starting to realize that the others on the other end, they could be like, oh, but this person did it. And they can go into the space of either fearing the person or blaming the person. And I find that it's important to assume the other person's innocence. Right. They do not know how to manage their energy. So, and they're looking to make other people responsible for their energy without knowing it. So sometimes when we are kind of like healers or people who are just like empaths, like, we can have the predisposition to take on other people's energy unconsciously, even though like right now we might be like, but I don't want that. And, but the programming is still there. It took me months, not years fully, to stop taking on people's energy. So like it affects a lot, because I find that sometimes when women are not taking care of their energy or like taking on other people's energies, like it can represent many different things. They could be attracting men that want to be fixed, like, that want to be like healed. It can bring up a lot of stuff for them. So being empowered and paying attention to your aura, releasing stuff from it, shower, all of it will really help you, because many women are walking throughout the day and it's like going up and down, highs and lows, not knowing why they're feeling bad. And not just during the day. Sometimes we have these beliefs hanging in our aura for years. So why is it that I'm not attracting what I want? And it's like, well, you have an energy somewhere in your field that if you just like release it, through clearing modalities, you do healing, like I do clearing. It's like, or like the Epsom salt or a combination of all of them, depending on the depth of where like their place in your energy, you will start to see results. It's kind of like the holistic way of like attracting the one and like in the most, it's like a fast track, right? Rather than feeling like it's the world, you're just like healing it from within, and it's soothing and it's nice and you feel liberated, and it's good for you because it makes you feel empowered. I am for sure, like I clear my aura like almost every day. Like something is off, I'm like, no.
So I love that. And I wanted to show everybody one last thing to clean your aura, and it's called the Goddess Sweep. I've done this when I lived in New York City in the subway, and people in there are just like, what is she doing? Like, weirdo. But okay. So it's very easy. You could just start and you just flick your wrist out, and you can start at the crown and go all the way down. And I hit the back, because a lot of us as women, we carry a lot of other people's stuff in the sacrum and also the hip area. So literally get those areas going and come back all the way up, and that's it. So you can do that right after work. You can do that right after a tough meeting, even after, a date that just felt a little weird. You could just say, I'm sweeping my aura. And it sounds crazy, but it really takes 30 seconds. If you're short on time, that's a great way. All right. Shall I share the second one?
Yes, please.
Okay. So the second one is, I'm actually going to switch these because the last one is the juicy one.
All right.
We'll make you guys stay with us. So the second one is looking at your schedule and asking yourself, have you prioritized self-care? And self-care can mean different things to different people, but for our purposes, I'm talking about things that help you feel aligned with your mind, your heart, and your body and your spirit. So maybe it's exercise. Maybe it's that yoga class you keep saying you're going to get to. Maybe it's mindful eating if you're trying to lose weight, like whatever it is that seems to be the thorn in your side that you're hoping and wishing that there's a pocket of time for. The only way that I've known to get it on the calendar is to put it on the calendar and to make everything work around that priority. So just to give you an example, I had a client who was in her 40s, had never been married, and really wanted to get married. And we looked at her schedule, and it seemed kind of unrelated to dating. But I said, you know, you keep telling me that you love to run, and I don't see running anywhere on here. Like, are you doing it? And she said, no, you know, I start my day and I'm checking emails. She's, you know, very high power businesswoman, and I eat lunch at my desk, and I got to go like take care of my, you know, sister's kid. And I'm like, okay, let's put running up at the top. And this might, you know, require you to get up a little bit earlier and sacrifice in that way. And she did. And it was the weirdest thing. She was like, it was such a simple adjustment, but the rest of her day, she said people at work started treating her differently. She got invited to events. She was like opening up her goddess energy because she was telling the universe, I am number one. I have to put this first, no matter what. Emails come in, no matter what my sister needs. Like, no, I am number one. And she went to a work event and met like her future husband. They're now married and have 2 children. And she didn't think this was going to happen. And so it can be as simple as, you know, take that one thing that really has your heart that you're not doing, that makes you sad because you're not doing it. Like for the longest time for me, it was dance classes. I finally got like a 5-class dance pass, and I'm so happy. And now it's on this calendar, you know? So what is that thing that you can add back in your life? And what is it costing you to not prioritize it? Because nobody else is going to prioritize it. And if you want a man who's going to like put you as a priority, you have to treat yourself as a priority.
Yeah, I so agree. It's funny. It's interesting, Diana, how sometimes we can, I don't know where I'm going here, but it's like we can repeat the same patterns of lack of love that we felt growing up, maybe from our parents or something. Like I remember for me personally, like I used to be so upset, like with like watching like my dad like complain or delay giving me something, or he treated it as it wasn't important. And it would hurt me. So years later, I find myself delaying like all the things that would really matter to me. And I was like, well, if you didn't like when your dad did that to you, then why are you doing that to yourself? Wow. And it was really key because sometimes consciously we might feel something, but unconsciously we might have taken it on. Like maybe that's what I should do, or maybe that's what I deserve, or like there's a mismatch in energy and alignment. And so when you bring that to your conscious awareness and you do it consistently, you embody it, you start to vibrate at a different level as a goddess, as a woman, as a amazing like feminine being. It's like you are being in integrity, you are being congruent in your energy. So when men reach out to you, you're like, yeah, she's a priority, because she is treating herself that way, and mind, body, spirit is aligned with that, you know? So it is about bringing awareness and ensuring. I find that for us as women also, like, we're all about like receiving and pleasure and fun and receiving love, right? So it is important that we give ourselves those times, because that's when we not only are vibrating better, but like we're more open, we're more connected, Absolutely. We're more allowing something great to happen. I so agree with everything you just said. It's about like, does your calendar include you? right? It's
Yes. And decision making becomes easier when you're putting yourself as a priority. So one thing, that I would suggest is if you're having a hard time with putting yourself as a priority is identify what are the desired feelings that you would like to feel on a daily basis. Maybe it's peace. Maybe it's to feel sexy. And every opportunity that comes across your desk or on your phone, you can weigh it against that. Is this assisting me and helping me feel sexy? Is this adding energy to my life? Or is it something I feel like I should do from my head?
mm,
And so, I think sometimes as women, we have FOMO, like that fear of missing out. If we don't accept every single date, even if you're exhausted at the end of your workday, right? And you're like, but if I don't say yes, then he's going to pick somebody else. It's like, no, if he's the right man, he will respect the fact that you're exhausted and reschedule the date.
yes.
But we have to trust, and it starts by not overcommitting yourself and like releasing that addiction to seeing our value and our worth only in what we do for other people, including men, and just knowing that you're worthy because you are, because we all are.
Yeah, and that energy can attract, when you are living your life and what can you do for people, you can attract the people that are not the right fit for you because they are in that wavelength of like, what can you do for me?
Yes.
Women feel like completed, and it's like it's about learning how to put yourself first and attracting a man that really loves when you do that, loves that you do that in the first place.
Absolutely. So this brings me to the last tip, which is to understand the difference. And this is kind of a big concept, but it's really important. The difference between offering something to, I'm going to use the word divine, but you can use whatever you want, higher self, higher power, God, goddess, versus being passive. So to give you a really tangible example, let's say that you've been on a couple of dates with a guy, you had a great connection, and then all of a sudden he's not returning your text like within the hour like he used to. And the monkey mind starts to go, what's wrong with me? Who else is he seeing? I'm not pretty enough. What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? And we go into our head. So one thing that you can do is offer the situation to a higher being and just say, you know what, I acknowledge that I'm worried about this guy not texting me back. If I need to see anything, if there's a lesson in here for me to learn, make it really clear. Show me a sign outside in the material world that's super obvious. I'm turning this over to you, and if there's anything I need to see, let me know. And there's a way to do that, and you can do that through prayer. I'm connected to the angelic realm, so my clients all know, like, oh, she's the woo-woo, like, love coach, and I will say, if you're open to it, call in your love angels, your romance angels. We all have them. There's like unemployed angels like hanging out that are just like waiting by the water cooler to be like called in, but we feel like we have to do it all ourselves, and we don't. So offering is saying the problem or the situation, owning your feelings, and then being willing to take inspired action. Okay. And then passivity is kind of being in that victim state. It's saying, you know what, like, F that guy, like, I don't need him anyway, and deleting him out of your phone, or just pretending like you don't care and you really do, and it's living in your body and it's affecting other things. And just saying, you know what, universe, like, F you, screw you, you handle it, bring me my guy, I don't want to go on dates anymore. And there's such a big difference, and I've been there, which is why I can share these tips. But we just get to that point where we feel resentful if we're not getting what we want when we want it. But it's so much more potent and powerful to offer and then be a participant with the divine, instead of just like sitting on the sidelines, like being a taker and being mad when you're not given something.
Yeah. Oh my God. I wanted to tear up just now when you were saying that, because it's like, I've had my, like, not occasional, but lately I've been having conversations with my clients, and it's like, ask your angels, like, ask your angels.
Oh, really? I love that.
Yeah, it is so weird. Because when you said it, it's like, yep. It's funny because, like, you get results because the universe is unconditional love. So when you are projecting certain wounds to the universe, like, but why haven't you given it to me? And you're like pissed off. That is a sign that you want to go to point one about clearing your aura, because you have belief systems that make you go into that space. But it's like, we have to understand that we are powerful beings and we are creating our reality. And it's like, whatever you are agreeing with something on the outside that's not what you want, then you start to attract it, right? So it's a matter of like, I like to ask lovingly for the help, of my guides, like angels, the universe, God, whoever you want to call it. It's like, I would much rather be in communication with source in a loving way, because every time that I get mad at source, there's a story there that I am responsible for holding in my vibration, in my field, in my aura, that if I am mad at the universe or I'm blaming, that means I'm not taking responsibility for it. And it's like, hey, like, nobody can take your free will from you. Like, release it. Maybe you've internalized this way too much. Like you do. I heard, like, when you said that you're like a spiritual healer, like, I do clearance as well, because it's about bringing that alignment. Because you could say something verbally, but if your heart and your body's holding on to a different emotion, you want to be congruent. You want to be in alignment. And I love what you just shared, because that attitude, when you have attitude towards the universe, or you're just like waiting and kind of like, that's something for you to look at and go back to point one and be willing to do the deeper work there, because that's where your answer is. When you stop vibrating that, so that you can be in alignment to be the person that has it. And I find that sometimes people like are like, but love should just come to me. Like, Diana, don't you hear that all the time? It's like, my friend like met this person just randomly at a bar, and I'm like, yeah, but you don't know what the
you don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, do you have anything to say about that?
Yeah, there's something really interesting about like our ego desires and then what is going to help our soul grow, right? And like there's a difference between those two. And we all have like our own kind of karma, and it might not be, right? Like that guy may not have texted you back because there's somebody else that's more aligned, or maybe he was actually a repeat of an old pattern, and the universe is like, no, like you actually you graduated from that. So why would we give you more energy on that? But we take it to our ego. We take it personally as a rejection. And I understand that. And if you feel that, it's okay to be disappointed. We're having a human experience. But one thing my mentor shared with me years ago was rejection is the goddess's protection. And there's different versions of that, but essentially it's just saying, like, there is a plan that you cannot see that's beyond what your ego wants right now. Mm-hmm. And whatever you think that man is going to give you, you first have to give yourself and be okay without the guy. If you're not okay without him, look at the story behind that, right? Your friend may have met somebody at the bar. Maybe that was her karma to meet him at the bar, and it's like, we don't know what happened or the dynamics of that relationship after the bar, but we just take the parts of the story that, right, we resonate that we're not getting, and then make it mean something about us. So you're all complete, you're all whole, and you will meet that one, but first you have to be able to recognize him. And then when you recognize him, you have to have the wisdom to not push him away when you get triggered.
Yeah.
And that's what these spiritual principles will help you with. And one of the biggest things I see is a lack of confidence in women, a confidence within themselves, right? To trust in the process, and also to trust that they're worthy and beautiful and enough. And just because it's not with that one guy, right, that you've been fixating on, like, that doesn't mean that you are not supposed to be with somebody. So, the gift that I have for all of you, would this be a good time to just share that?
Yeah, I just find that it's so important to understand, like, I fully, like, I'm on that clarity that we are just like souls having, like, a human experience, or spiritual beings in this human body. So I find that everything comes from source. Yes. And the lessons come from there. And if we like super just identify with our ego, we can be in a push and pull like relationship in regards to this, but it's like, I would much rather be on board, with the universe, let have that communication and have that clarity than be at odds or like entertain days or months or years in doubt and in fear. Like, first surrender that fear, work on it, and you will meet your man, and the right man. I find that the more you embrace this spiritual lessons and learnings, and also not just intellectualizing it, but releasing it, at a karmic level, at an emotional level, at a spiritual level, at a body level, because the more you can do that, the more you will free yourself. It's not just about understanding spirituality on an intellectual level. It's about allowing it, embodying it, and having the courage to go for it, right? Because it's just who we really are.
Absolutely. So I feel it's important for us to recap those in case somebody is hopping on this a little bit later, or you were doing other things. You're like, what was the first tip? So the first one is to clean your aura, either, using shower bath, mindful, movement meditation. There's other things. You can even use selenite if you're into crystals. And the second is to really prioritize your self-care and actually insert it into your calendar and have everything, all your obligations and responsibilities, try to work around that instead of finding a pocket of mysterious time that's never going to come. And then the third one is to just be really honest with yourself when you're frustrated. Have I been trying to do this all alone? Do I need to release some stuck emotions? What am I feeling right now? And then knowing the difference between offering it versus being passive and kind of being a victim. And really knowing that as you kind of do that dance with yourself, you will come into more alignment and start to attract men that really do make you feel important, that do make you feel loved, that do make you feel seen, because you're doing all of that and more with yourself and your true soulmate, which is spirit. So to help you all, I would love to offer you a free gift, and it's called 7 Goddess Secrets to Up Your Confidence Now in Love and Life. So whether you're in a relationship or you are wanting to call in a relationship, these 7 secrets, and you can print it out and keep it in your purse or snap a pic of it and have it on your phone, are going to help you to develop that muscle to start trusting yourself and start trusting the universe, so that you can receive the one. So it's been a pleasure to be here, Nicole. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, I'm so grateful that you're here. We should do this more often. I love it because we can geek out on spirituality, like angels, like attraction.
Totally. Crystals.
Yeah, it would be amazing. Like, I have my crystals right here. Like, I have a selenite, like a heart selenite.
So I have one of those too, somewhere in my suitcase. I don't know where it is right
Yeah, this was amazing. Thank you so much. I would invite all of the ladies to comment, share in the comments below what your biggest takeaways. If you have any questions for Diana, or if you have any questions for me, just share and share it with your friends. We would love to know how much you like this video and what happens as you put it in practice.
Absolutely. And you guys can check the first comment. We'll put in the free gift link there. And you can always find me on my website, which is 5starlovelife.com. And you just all the words, FIVE. And yeah, we'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Take care, ladies.